Sir, in the Indian Express, the headline says, "We want return to relief camps." It's about the voice of the IDPs. It's about their resentment, their frustrations, insecurities, inactivity of the government. Sir, how do you look at it?
First of all, a very good morning to viewers. Regarding this IDP issue, it has been continuing since last 2 years. Now the matter is slightly different. When there was a heavy firing, bombardment and other things, now the issue is how do you survive economically. I believe that the IDP wants to return home because they want to come back to the original economy which made their existence and livelihood. At present, they are living in fabricated houses, homes, clubs and other areas. Now the government has not been able to make them adopt to various economies, various existing economies. So the priority for them is to come back to the original economy. That can only happen when they reach their original station where they used to survive, whether they have a farmland, whether they were engaged in labor job, whether they were engaged in some other kind of survival tactics. Now since the starting of this conflict, the government of Manipur has been either the PR government or the original popular government was, when the popular government was there in the state, the various departments, skilled labor, horticulture, agriculture and other departments have been giving them various support. But the main thing is that whatever support you have, it is a temporary support. So now you have to look at the future of your children, your own future. For instance, we have a very close tie-up with our social economy and our existence. The culture of the people of various communities have their own methodology of survival. For example, when a Meitei citizen dies or a Meitei person dies, he is being held by the local community in the way called Singluk. Now, for instance, this IDP inhabitants who have been living in Moirang, Torbung area and 𝗍𝗏𝗏, then this 𝗍𝗏𝗏𝗧 and all these areas. If a person expires, now they are not being they are not being able to get that honor which they used to get. Even I'm talking of the worst case scenario, not about the survival, but about the ending of life. They are not able to get the very respect of even of the dead, even of the expired person. The community is not able to set up a proper procedure for ending of even the ending of life. So it is a very normal demand that the IDPs are asking for, and it is their rightful authority to get this demand. Now it depends on the government how they react. Although the government has been trying to send some of the IDPs back to their original residence, the amount of money which the government has invested in re-establishment or rehabilitation of the IDP has a huge difference of the loss which they have. For instance, to my knowledge, subject to correction, the government has been spending around 1 lakh, 2 lakh to re-establish their home. But when Kokomi officials, Arambai, Meitei Lipun and all other CSOs and related authorities, even the DCs have went to visit the all residents of all these IDPs who have been sent back to their original residence, the amount of loss which they have is not comparable to the amount which the government is investing on their rehabilitation. So the government needs to do more. In my opinion, apart from establishing, spending money on their housing and education and other things, they also need to spend more on their economy. For instance, if they have given a skilled labor training, or if they have given an entrepreneurial training or some other kind of training, for example, food processing training, government needs to give them more support on their market so that they survive economically on their home ground. This is what the government needs to do. I think the government has not done enough, apart from trying to send them back, the security thing. Economically, there are lots of things which the government needs to do.
Okay, so fine. So in the next headlines is about tension among is 𝗬𝗓𝗄𝗧 community blocks Manipur peace route cyclists in Kangpokpi. This is a headline from the India Today Notice. So the message is very clear. It was cycling for rebuilding Manipur. It's a message for rebuilding Manipur. It's not a message to continue the conflict, but there is rejection. How do you read the signals?
I think there is no rejection at all. See, there are some vested interested people with vested interests who wants to continue the crisis. A few days back in in 𝗦𝗔𝗡𝗧𝗔 Torbung area, you have seen that some of the miscreants have done some firing incident. There has been some firing incident which the government was not able to control. So as far as the people's concern is, I think the government has a strong belief that the militants or various miscreants organizations will stand by what the government wants to achieve. So few people with vested interest might have been like Kotu, then the other tribal organizations who have demanded separate administration and who are being supported backed by militant organizations. They are the only ones who has been opposing all these things. For instance, yesterday or day before yesterday, you might have seen a statement of the Kokomi coordinator, Mr. Athoba, saying that no one is stopping the Kukis to come back to Imphal.
Okay.
The Kukis as well as come back to Imphal, they can do a survey of their home. For example, we have been doing, our CSOs have been doing survey of just before this topic, a few minutes back, we were discussing the IDPs. Now, our IDPs have went to their home, went to their original residence, and they have seen the structure over there, and they have demanded the government that whatever they are financing for the residence is not enough of the loss which they have got. Now even the Kukis can come back, few of the Kukis can come back, they can have a look of what the damage is, they can ask the government, there has to be a proper rehabilitation process.
Okay.
Now few of the organizations like ITLF, KOTU and other small organizations, if they want to block the peace process, it is for the government to decide how they tackle it. They cannot, the majority population cannot remain hostage to few people, few organizations. You see that. For instance, there has been a very huge operation being carried out at Hedok. Those kind of operations can be carried out at different areas. I would like to appreciate the BSF for helping this 𝗦𝗡𝗔𝗡𝗧𝗔 guy to pass through Kangpokpi. But I don't understand whether they have put him in one bunker vehicle or they have made him cycle through the highway. So there is a big question: is the government succumb to few organizations in the name of not re-inviting a problem? Okay, in the name of not re-inviting a problem. For instance, the government might take like this: say there are instances where various organizations try to cross 𝗦𝗡𝗏 on foot or by road. Even the government tried. Previous chief secretary tried 2-3 times.
Yes.
Now, if the government is not able to make it happen, then it is a total failure of law and order. 𝗦𝗡𝗏𝗏 is a very small entity, but there are entities related to economy, related to culture, related to festivals, related to communities, and so many other things that the government is ignoring. Now the government has to decide when and how to handle this, what kind of action they can take.
Okay.
For example, during the Sangay festival, when the G5 insurgents announced that certain individuals, organizations, and stallers would be should say sorry to the people of Manipur unless they would face action from G5.
Okay.
Now, the chief secretary had written a statement signed by himself that such kind of intimation won't be allowed. But whenever there is a question of passing Kangpokpi, whenever there is a question of IDPs returning to their original place, there has been a slight firing, there has been statements provoking simple Kuki individuals to block 𝗦𝗡𝗏𝗏𝗏 and other IDP people while doing the process of bringing peace. So particularly it is the role of the government, it is the role of law, whether how effective they can implement the rule of law. So I think there is no point discussing all this, that what is the KOTU doing, why 𝗦𝗡𝗏𝗏𝗏 was not allowed to cycle through. But yes, we can discuss the matter, how did the government tackle, how did the government use BSF to make Palem Tongam reach Imphal, and what action did the government do, not on behalf of the activists, forget the activists, let's forget the activists for a while, but what did the government do when there is a peace process, peace initiative taken by any individual? Even it can be a truck driver, it can be a simple human being who wants to, bring up a peace initiative. There is a contribution towards the society.
Yes.
But is the government supporting it? Is the government taking legal action against those who are not permitting peace to, permitting peace process to go ahead? This is the big question.
So it is actually not a rejection, but it is an effort by some vested interest group